Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's episode edition of What to Read Today. So, today I have brought you a book, but I'm bringing you this book all the way from Thailand. I try to be consistent, I try to do what I said I'm going to do when I said I'm going to do it. And so, even though I have left Australia, I still get to bring you a book. And all the way from the beautiful city of Bangkok, here we are, head over heels, a story of tragedy, triumph, and romance in the Australian bush. I read this book all through my 8 hours flight from Melbourne to Bangkok. I couldn't stop. Even when the passenger next to me kept on going, "What are you reading? What is it about?" I'm like, "Can you just let me read?" No, I did not say that. Gave him a little bit snapshot of what I'm reading, and he said he was curious and he was going to read it as well when he got to his destination. So here we are, this book. What tends to happen, or at least most of the books I read or introduce on this channel, is books about there is a medical condition, someone was out and about, and then they got involved in a fire or they got involved in an accident. This one, we're going a little bit rural, to the bush. A young man aspiring to become a farmer, just like his dad. He loves to work with his hands. He was 19 at the time, so not yet 20. And while he was at the farm where he was working, or at least gaining some form of experience, on a Sunday afternoon, he decided to head out to the pub with his friends just to have a drink, to have a good time, which is normal or okay. Then they got involved in an accident. That accident that Sunday afternoon changed the trajectory of Sam's life. We get to meet Jenny later on in the book, but this is a book about how that event totally derailed his dreams of becoming a farmer and all the recovery process, having to learn to walk again. He never walked. So he lost mobility from his neck downwards. In addition to that, he just had to learn how to live with his new condition as a quadriplegic. But it gets interesting. This beautiful lady, who is a journalist, is sent over to interview him and get to hear about his story, present his story to the world. They fall in love. As I started to read this book and think about it, something crossed my mind. We see people who have been involved in an accident or who have lost or have burnt some parts of their body or have lost their hands, their limbs, or mobility. They get married, at least the books I have read, but it's usually to people who were already in their lives. So either people they were dating before the accident or people who they knew, they were just people already they know. So this is the first book where the lady or the partner meets the person after they have had this accident, so meets them in their current state. It wasn't a situation of I knew you before, I loved you before, and I'm going to stick with you through it. It's even or despite your current condition, I'm here for you and I want to get married to you. They get married and they go about speaking and trying to inspire people, which is good. So the question now is, what is the TH? If you've been on this channel, TH, take home after reading this book. What does Sam and Jenny tell us? What is different from the other books I have read and what struck me, and this is it. We are often limited by our surroundings. Our surroundings in this context is not the people around us, it's what we can see and what we know. Since having this accident, Sam so many times have shown us how what was said was impossible to do. He's been able to do it by applying his mind, not his sight. What I'm trying to get at is if you see the way everyone walks, you naturally learn to walk by watching people. However, if there's no template, there's no one telling you what or how you can do something, it's all in your mind. You begin to envision. You begin to think, how can I achieve this? What can I do? In this book, you get to meet Sam having to adapt different missionaries. He learns to fly an aircraft. He learns to do things by adapting and how can I make some changes? What tools, what technology can I use to be able to achieve or to be able to remain a farmer? At some point, you get to see him still learning or still aspiring to, being a farmer, having to use hoist and adapting some missionary just so he remains and he's still able to achieve his dreams. Here he goes skiing with an adapted chair. Here we meet Jenny and their dog after they got married and living life together. Here it's their wedding day with Sam on the wheelchair. For everyone out there, something happens to you, it's hard, it's difficult. Maybe what we need to do is rather than saying how things have been done and how people are addressing the situation, we may want to pull back and go inwards into our minds. That's the TH for me from this book, the take home. Maybe I can do other things, or I can do things even though there are some restrictions to my mobility, there are restrictions to where I can go or how independent I can be. Sometimes little thinking could give you solutions and answers as to how you can solve some of these problems. That for me is the take home. Again, someone else may read this book and come up with something else. It got me thinking. He's gone on to do all of these other things, not because he got his mobility back, not because he has gotten strength in his hand and he can eat. No, all of that disability remains, but he learned how to move things around, how to use other things to achieve the goal he wants to achieve. That for me is powerful. So, until next time, I bring you another book on what to read today. You keep well, keep reading, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.